Cultural appropriation is bullshit. The time for dealing with these things with kid gloves has come and gone. It's time that we're just straight up about it. It's bullshit. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Izzy, and this is the Izzy Nobre Show. Perhaps the cultural appropriation argument has convinced you before. Basically it goes, if you're not part of a certain culture, a certain heritage, you should not indulge in things that that culture or heritage is known for. Now, the degrees on this vary a little bit. The way it started is you should not mock people's cultures. I agree with that. You should not be a dick. You should not dress up as a stereotype of a certain culture or a background to make a joke out of that. I totally agree with that. I think that's a reasonable middle ground, and I think that's why this whole cultural appropriation became so popular. In fact, most of this leftist politically correct doctrine convinces people because at its core, it's coming from a good place. Don't mock people's cultures. I think everybody can agree with that. And I'm not even a super politically correct guy, but I personally am not going to go out of my way to dress up like, say, a Native American and make a caricature of that. That's just me. Personally, I'm Brazilian. If somebody were to wear a Brazilian stereotype and make a bunch of Brazilian jokes, personally, it doesn't bug me, but I totally understand why some people, where most people could agree that if you're just trying to make a mockery of somebody's background, it's not super nice. Fine. But then people push it a little bit more. What started with don't mock people's cultures morphed into don't indulge in anything that is not your culture, because it's not your place to do that. And then people stretch that into don't practice yoga. Recently, a yoga class at the University of Toronto was shut down because a bunch of people complained that there was cultural appropriation. The biggest irony of that one specifically for me is that Hindu gurus have tried most of their lives to make yoga popular in North America. So to say that white people can't do yoga, not only there's no base for you to say that, but you're spitting in the face of the people who tried most of their lives to make white people practice yoga. Remember, originally the idea was don't mock people's cultures. It morphed into just don't partake in other people's cultures at all. Some people say that you cannot eat certain types of foods. Some of the most radical bunch say that you cannot learn to speak that language because that would be cultural appropriative, I guess. There was a museum recently that had a kimono night, I think it was called, and people would come on and, you know, put the kimonos on and learn about the culture and understand their values, just to kind of like, this is something that has happened for as long as culture has existed. The exchange of cultures and ideas. This is something that has, it's very weird that the politically correct thing to say now is that cultures should not mix. Because it wasn't that long ago that it was the white supremacists saying that. So it's really weird how it's like the whole horseshoe theory thing where the extremes are closer to one another than they think. That is why these leftist, politically correct, radical ideas convince a lot of people, because they're born out of a good intention. The good intention being don't mock somebody's culture just because of that, because that's a dick thing to do. But don't partake in any culture whatsoever. Don't do yoga, don't do martial. I've heard that you can't, if you're a white guy, you shouldn't do martial arts because that's not your culture. It's very upsetting and frustrating to me that more people don't challenge that notion. The people who end up challenging this notion of cultural appropriation end up being in the more reactionary side of the political spectrum. And I fucking hate that I'm constantly having to espouse those ideas because the leftist people are going a little bit too crazy. I don't want to identify as a reactionary. I don't want to defend reactionary ideals. I just end up finding myself on that side because the left has gone unchecked for too long. In the mainstream media, you don't see a lot of criticism to those ideas as though they're the objective good. I can only speak for my culture. If you enjoy anything that is Brazilian, we do have nice beaches, women, soccer, football. Food is delicious. We did suck at the last World Cup. That was humiliating. I did mention the food, right? If there's anything about the Brazilian culture that you enjoy, I'm giving you a Brazilian pass. Do whatever the fuck you want. Try to speak broken Portuguese for all I care. That's fine. If anything, I can tell you this. As a member of a visible minority, and I have to mention this again, I know I'm pretty white, but as far as Stats Canada is concerned, I'm part of a visible minority. So as a part of a specific minority, I can tell you, enjoy any Brazilian thing you fucking want. I don't know what that would be. There's a lot of Brazilian models for like those Victoria's Secret things, so I guess watch those. But that's my point. Enjoy cultures. That's great. There's nothing wrong. It's so weird to me that they have to explain this. There's nothing inherently wrong with with enjoying a different culture and learning about that and incorporating that into who you are. And just how the fuck did these people manage to turn that into a negative? Fucking explain that to me. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And that's all the time I have for today. I'm Izzy, and I'm done. Fuck, I'm turning into one of those YouTubers now. Shit.